The woods were dark and shadowy. The great white circle in the sky hovered over everything as it always did. The night was a time when many forms of life, not found by the creatures of the day, would congregate and go about their usual business. Some would hunt, others would merely enjoy the quiet. For those types of animals, it was a fortunate time, but not for those things they hunted. Many a person could get lost in the darkness, and most likely wind up in a situation that would not exactly work in their favor. Crickets were the only sound to be heard this time. Fireflies lit up the summer night air. This was exactly how it used to be at her old home. As she stalked through the dark forests, she could fondly remember the times she spent growing up on that island all those years ago. She could remember her sisters. There were 3 of them, and although they were long since dead, she could still remember their names: Delta, Charlie, and Echo. It was a beautiful memory, one that could bring a tear to her eye. Of course, there were lots of things that she could remember about where she came from. Some of the scaleless beings observed her during her youth, watching, studying. The creatures who owned her and her sisters did not seem all that bad. She could remember where she was born. Being the firstborn out of her sisters, she was the first to be inspected by those creatures. After breaking from the hard shell that surrounded her, the light of the outside world made her vision blurry until she could see completely. Until she could see Owen. He was the first thing she saw when everything came into focus. Oh, how she missed him now. The last time she saw him was after she had defeated that horrifying creature that those terrible humans had made. All the other animals had left to live their new lives in this new world. Alongside, the humans did not sound as bad as it used to, just as long as they mind themselves. Hey girl, Blue, come with me. I'll take you to a safe place, okay? Blue, come with me. Come with me. His voice echoed in her head as if it were speaking in a deep and dark cavern, bounding out the walls and making their sounds known to the other parts of it. She could not forget those words he spoke to her during their final night together. For a moment, she wanted to. Oh, how she wanted to. To be with him again and relive all the memories they used to live. To start their lives over before all this happened. The great white beast, the machine stuck in her head, the bearded one touching her face, the deaths of her sisters, the 4-legged raptor. But then, that would mean living behind bars again. And after everything that had happened to her all that time ago, she was not entirely certain it would not happen again. She did not want to be used as a weapon a 3rd time. It broke her heart to say goodbye to him. But it was the only way that she could be happy. Was she? Was she truly happy? True humans never attacked her anymore. She could live on her own with no more fear. But without Owen there beside her, she was alone. And now, being the last raptor in existence, Blue was more alone than ever. She had looked back on it all with great reluctance, for it had brought back all those painful memories. It was like someone had struck what soul she had within her with a sword. She let out a small purring noise before making, shaking her head and running off into the night. All the while, those 3 words echoed again in her head. Come with